Hello, welcome to Jason the Old Millennial. My name is Jason, speaking to my basement in the great state of Kansas, and this is an impromptu live stream that I'm doing. I wasn't really planning on doing a live stream, but uh, I got some uh, stuff in the mail just recently. This last week, I got two items that, let's see if I show them off. Uh, some album looking, vinyl looking boxes. And then today I just got this box, which I'm pretty sure is full of CDs. uh, so I thought I would unbox these, and then I was gonna do it live for anybody that wants to watch me do it live. And I thought since I'm live and I'm unboxing these, and I thought I might show off my CD collection that I've gotten so far. Um, uh, hey Mike, I thought you'd be in bed already. Actually, I'm surprised you're still awake. So thanks. Yeah, heading to bed. All right. Thanks a lot, Mike. Have a good night. And see, I got Nick and Garrett. One of them is your. Yeah, I got two vinyl, so I was kind of confused. I was like, I know Garrett was sending me some vinyl, but I got two. Unless it's not, maybe it's not vinyl. I don't know. I think it is. We'll see. Um, and then got Briar. Oh, good. Okay, so at work. I say hopefully Briar can watch this because I know he's into CDs. And I got Rob. Hey, Rob. So cool to see you here since I know this box of CDs came from you. So be real fun to show that off and see what everybody thinks, I guess. Um, but yeah, so everybody wanted to kind of see what I got. So I'm doing a live stream. Show off some new stuff here and show off. I have 48 CDs so far. I know Briar's probably thinking 48 CDs, that's a start. Since Briar's got 1,000 CDs, 48 is like just a very small amount. But yeah, so let's see what we got here. That's true. If you mention Queen, Briar will come out of nowhere and will show up, kind of like Beetlejuice. Okay, so I got more than the average person, maybe. I'm not showing what people are saying here. That's what Nick was saying. There, I'm getting somewhere here. Unless I bought something, I don't know that I bought it. Maybe I bought something and don't even know. I don't know if that's what this is. Yeah, don't mention too much Queen. And Bryce says, it's a starter, but 46 is probably more than the average person. Yeah, well, yeah. And then Nick has like 500 albums or something crazy. Let's see what this is. Okay. All right. We got Steely Dan, Can't Buy a Thrill. I was not expecting that. All right. Let's see. Yeah. Can't Buy a Thrill, Steely Dan. This is Steely Dan's first album. I did a deep dive on them a little while ago. Listened to all their stuff, and Can't Buy Thrills, my favorite album from them. Steely Dan. I thought this was a really good album. So I'm not sure who sent this to me. If it wasn't, did you send it, Garrett? Because I don't know who else would have sent it to me. So Nick thinks Garrett definitely sent it. Yeah, very nice. Yeah, well, that's great. Yeah, I definitely want this album. This is definitely on my list of albums I really want to get, and a record too. Yeah, I love this album. Like I said, to me, like Steely Dan when they first started, um, the when they first started, they put together kind of a band with David Palmer as a second singer, and they added drums and bass and all this, while Fagan and Bleeker or whatever were kind of the main two. They did all the writing, and I feel like this album, I don't know, has the best vocals, the best like pop sound, maybe the best harmonies maybe out of any of the albums, and that's why I think I like it the most. So I feel like when he after like what is it, after Katie Lie or after Pretzel Logic, they kind of did away with the rest of the band and they just stuck with the two people. And then it became just more jazzy or jazz fusion. And I'm not into the jazz fusion as much. I think this album, I mean, still got probably some jazz influence. I mean, I think Do It Again definitely has their signature sound to it. Um, then you got Dirty Work. I love Dirty Work. That's my second favorite Steely Dan song. Uh, it sounds much different, and a lot of that's because David Palmer's singing it. I love David Palmer's vocals on there. Like I'd like to get more David Palmer, but love Dirty Work. It's just a great, like, nice little pop number. Midnight Cruiser, love that. That was in my top 10. Again, great pop song, great harmonies. Only Fool would say that. Also in my top 10 favorite Steely Dan songs. So I mean, this has a lot of my favorites in it. My very favorite song is "Reeling in the Years." I really, really love that song. That's in my top 100 favorite songs of all time list, and it's number one favorite Steely Dan song again because the guitar is so great. I mean, the guitar is good on another song, but the guitar is just absolutely on another level. I mean, it starts with incredible guitar solo, and in the middle or whatever, you get another really great guitar solo, and then the harmonies with the reeling in the years. I was like, oh, so good. So I don't know. This is just maybe just a little bit different than the other albums, and it's my favorite. While other people are saying they like the later stuff, the more the jazz fusion stuff. It's got the people's names on here. So we got Jeff Baxter on guitar, Walter Becker, Denny Diaz, which I've heard he's a pretty guitar player. He plays on a lot of their stuff. Jim Hodder drums, David Palmer. A couple other people on there, anyways. But yeah, anyways, thank you a lot for that. I really appreciate that. That's one I definitely want to get to. Like I said, most people love Aja and Rural Scam. I'm not a big fan of those right now because I don't know, it's just too jazzy. And the earlier stuff seemed more poppy or something to me. I don't know. Here it says, "Hey, you got Steely Dan." Yeah, Steely Dan. And yep, Can't Buy a Thrill. And yeah, Nick said he's not into Steely Dan as much. I think Garrett, maybe the biggest fan out of the four of us. You like their later stuff more. My three favorites are the albums after the band era. Yeah, yeah, you guys like the later stuff. I like the earlier stuff. Like I said, I like Pretzel Logic, and that's like the third album. Midnight Cruiser was number one for you. It was in my top 10. Elliot Randall, I saw that name on there. He also played guitar, I think, on. Yeah, it says he also played guitar on the album. So they get really good. I don't know if he's a session guy, but they get some really good session guys on these albums. I'll say I'm staying to like the debut. I'm starting to like the debut the best. Okay, yeah, definitely love the debut album here. One of the best debut albums out of any band. Jeff Baxter ended up on the guitars for the Doobie Brothers. Okay, well that's another. I know there's a lot of good guitar playing on the Doobie Brothers. All right, so I think I know what this next one is because Garrett told me he was sending it to me. So Can't Buy Through I wasn't expecting, but I'm very happy with. Obviously, very happy with that. All right. All right, this is one that I know. I know what. Who do you think it is? Anybody want to guess who it is? Who? Who could it be? Yeah. Who? Anybody not knowing? Hopefully they're getting the hints of what we're talking about here. And I have time getting this plastic off. Okay. Who is it? Who are you? By The Who. If I can get the. Yeah, what a pretty cool album. I really like. You really want to know who? Who are we talking about? Yeah, you hate The Who, Nick, right? Yeah, sure. Um, I kind of really like the album cover, to be honest. It's one of my favorite ones out of them. But this is, of course, I've gone through a discography deep dive over The Who. I haven't done a video on them yet, but I definitely will be doing a video, fairly soon on The Who because I went through their whole discography recently. And I was a big fan of Who's Next, a big fan of Tommy. And then I recently got Garrett sending me actually every single Who album I have. Garrett sent me. So I got the Who Sell Out and the Quick One. Garrett sent me that one. So Who Sell Out, really good album as well. Quick One is all right. It's a decent album. But the one that really got me was this one, Who Are You? When I got to Who Are You, which comes out like in 1978. It's like one of their later albums, last album with Keith Moon. And I was blown away by this album. I mean, this is a really great album. I mean, and the only song I really knew from it was "Who Are You." Obviously, that was a big hit song. It's on CSI or whatever, one of the CSI shows. And so going into it, like I really didn't know much, and then I was listening to it, and very first song, new song, man, great rock song. I was like, wow, this is a really good rock song. I mean, every song I thought was really good on here. It reminded me a lot of like listening to Who's Next, where it's like every song you're like, wow, this is a good song. This is a good song. Wow, like it just every song was kind of wowing me, and I was like, wow, how have I not been, a big fan of this album? This is like the first time I'm really like, I feel like I've listened to this album maybe once before, forgot about it, and now listening to it again, I'm like, man, how could I forget about this album? It's amazing. Yeah, another excellent album. Yeah, just kidding. Nick loves the Who, so Had Enough I thought was great. Sister Disco I thought was really good. Side 2, oh my gosh, Side 2. There's 9 songs. All four sides on song 2 or Side 2. I mean, are definitely all in consideration for my like top 10 favorite songs of the Who. I mean, I was just blown away by Side 2. Trick of the Light, great rock song. I mean, I was listening going, wow, this really rocks. Like, I cannot believe how good a rock song it is. And then the next song, Guitar and Pen, I told Gareth and I think Nick, like, this is like my new favorite song now. Like, this is definitely one of my favorite Who songs, Guitar and Pen. And like, I couldn't believe it because I've never heard this song really, except I think I heard it once before. And it didn't hit me till this time. And I was like, wow, this song is amazing. Love is Coming Down, great song. Absolutely love it. And then ends with Who Are You, the classic, Who song. So, I mean, that Side 2 is like one of the best Side 2s I've ever heard, to be honest. And here we got the record itself. This is just like the other one, I guess. It's MCA Records. It's got the rainbow thing on it. Yeah. Yeah, I can't recommend this album anymore. Whenever I do my top 10, or whenever I do my top 100 favorite albums again at some point, I'm going to have to read, this is going to have to make it in there because I don't know if we'll ever review this album on SoundLab Studios, but like, so I don't know if I should say this, but I'll be honest with you. I'd give this a 10 out of 10. It's that good. It's my second favorite Who album now, after Who's Next. Who's Next is one of my favorite albums of all time. And Who Are You? Yeah, to me, it's a 10 out of 10 album. Like, every song is great. If you haven't listened to it, definitely listen to that one. Yeah, had to send that one, especially since you have to have the original and not the yeah, because you don't like the remix on Spotify. I guess you said the remix wasn't very good, and so yeah, so now I got an original copy, so I got the good stuff. What I can do is change immensely. Really, that's interesting. I mean, obviously the Who Sell Out's number one. After that, I'm not sure what you put after that, but I own 4 copies of Who Are You. Yeah, 4 copies. Yeah, nice. Yeah, different review. Okay, good. Yeah, I would love to review it. Yeah, yeah, definitely. But you want to do Tommy next? Yeah, because we did the Who Sell Out. That's the only one we reviewed, I think. Number 3, yeah. Okay, so you're kind of with me on that. I say number 2. Right now, I'm saying Who's Next number 1, Who Are You number 2, and Tommy number 3. That's like right now. I'd say that's definitely my 3 favorite. All right, now I got this box from Rob, and Rob's in the chat, so thank you, Rob. Rob's getting me so many CDs. I mean, he's really helped out my CD collection, which I really appreciate. Very kind of you guys to send me stuff. How big a collection do you have, Rob? Do you have? I'm guessing you have like a giant collection. Holy cow! Wow, I got a lot of CDs. Whew. I was gonna say I have 48 CDs, and this will put me over 50 now. This might be putting me in the 60 CDs. We'll see what we got here. Let's see. Then who's next? Yeah, who's next? We will see here. I won't say anymore, but Garrett guessed right with Quadrophenia. Oh, that's right. Yeah, you love Quadrophenia. You love Quadrophenia. 2005. Oh, jeez. Wow. Briar just got 1,000 CDs recently, so wow, you even got double that. Oh my gosh. All right, let's see what we got. We got quite a bit here, and let's see. I'll show it. I'm not sure what it is yet. I'm trying to figure it out. This is the first CD I picked up out of the box. It says "Closer Than Together" on the back. Closer Than Together, is that the album name, or is that the band? I'm guessing it's the album name. I don't know. Let's see. Closer Than Together, or is it? Oh, the Avett Brothers. I see it now. On the side, it says the Avett Brothers. Closer than Together. So Avett Brothers, I want to say Sam St. John is like a huge fan of the Avett Brothers, and he keeps talking about them. If I'm right, I think they have a kind of a countryish sound. I want to say. Okay, that's pretty cool. It's got the kind of more, I know we call it cardboard. Yeah, Sam and I. Okay, and you love the Abbotts too. Yeah, Sam talks about the Abbotts quite a bit. Uh, I love the style. I forget what you call that. I know there's a name for it. I call it cardboard, but yeah, cool fold here. I always like that. Folds in 3. Look at that. Let's see if I can get the CD out. All right. There's the CD there. Digipack. Thank you, Briar. Yeah, I was trying to think. Digipack. Yeah, I don't know why I couldn't think of that. I love Digipacks, actually. They feel really cool. They don't crack like the CD jewel cases do, but very cool looking there. They're very, I feel like Americana, very American type band, because I know Sam loves that kind of stuff. But yeah, thank you, Rob. Definitely check that out. See what I think of the. Let's see. See, my ranking I had with Garrett Breyer and did our ranking. Yeah. I'm not gonna say that, Rob, but yeah, definitely you're older than us, and so you had some more years, I guess, to collect. Breyer's only, I don't know, Breyer's what, 23 or something like that. So, when Breyer's 50, maybe you'll have 2,500 CDs by that point. I wouldn't be surprised. I'm not worthy. Yeah, I know. No, Breyer, man, I'm not so impressed with your CDs anymore. I don't have too many CDs, but I have 220 records. Oh, you have two of vinyl? Okay. Yeah, like I said, I only have 48. Yeah, okay, I saw that one already. Yeah, Live at Leeds, On the Sods, Tommy, Who's Next? Number 8 still. Oh, was that the last one? Yeah, okay. That was one you did before. Who's Sousa? So Quadfina jumped quite a bit from 7 to 1, I'm guessing. Yeah, Magic Bus, Quick One, My Generation. Yeah, Magic Bus makes sense. It has a lot of same songs as the Who Sell Out that you put it in there. Who Are You at number 5? Okay. My Generation. Okay. That's an interesting list. Definitely a little bit different than mine. I gotta say, Rob says here. That particular album is a bit more contemporary in terms of the lyrics. Okay. Yeah, that was the first one. I figured so because you said it changed. It was still sealed. I didn't think about you trying to open it. You have a couple hundred LPs. It's that collection. Yeah, you collected vinyl probably back when that was the thing. Maybe I don't know. When I was growing up, it was cassette tapes. And CDs didn't really become a thing until I was in high school, and then that's when I think CDs became a big thing that people were buying. I didn't buy my first CD until well, maybe not in high school. No, maybe junior high. Probably by the time I was, yeah, by the time I was like sixth, seventh grade, that's when I started buying CD or started getting CDs over cassettes. But cassettes were big for a long time. All right, next I got Earth, Wind, and or the best of Earth, Wind, and Fire, Volume 1. So, Volume 1, wow. Yeah, Earth, Wind, Fire, obviously a huge group in the 60s, I want to say, or 70s. We got to get you into my life. Is that a Beatles cover? Fantasy, Can't Hide Love, Love Music, Getaway, That's the Way of the World, September, Shining Star, Reasons, and there's the price tags over that one. Sing a Song. Earth, Wind, and Fire. I want to say they had like an album that won like Album of the Year, maybe, or Song of the Year in the Grammys. September, is that and Shining Star? I think I may know those songs. I don't know when Earth, Wind, Fire a lot, but I know they had some big songs and some good stuff. I want to say they did like, I thought they did Hair, the music for Hair, maybe. Um, uh, yeah. What's it called? Or is that Fifth Dimension? I'm thinking Fifth Dimension. Never mind. I'm thinking of a different band. I know Earth, Wind, and Fire though. That they're like they play horns, I think, in their music, but I'm not real familiar with them. But yeah, sure wouldn't mind checking out their best stuff here and seeing what they have. I want to say they're probably more. I don't know if they're more R&B ish than what I usually listen to. But very cool band. I'll need to get into. Okay, thanks, Nick. I was working when CDs came out. I actually went to a trade show in New York City where they introduced the CD format. Wow. I got a shirt that read, I have seen the future. Oh my gosh. That's amazing. I don't know when CDs. Yeah, I remember all of a sudden everybody was buying CDs and it felt like the future. Yeah, I felt like, what? You don't have to rewind it? Because cassette tapes, you had to play it, side one, and then you had to rewind it and then turn it over on side two and play that. And when you got CDs and it was like, you can pick which song you want to go to right away. On cassettes, you couldn't do that. You had to fast forward or rewind it to get to the next song. So you had to basically listen to the whole thing. And then CDs, yeah, it definitely was like a game changer for me. And it's weird. Now I collected CDs in high school and to college. And then I stopped once iTunes came a thing. And I was like, I can just buy stuff on iTunes. And so I stopped collecting CDs. And now it's like I got more CDs than I ever had before in my life, and I got a bunch of vinyl now, which I never thought I'd have vinyl. That's insane. I have Earth, Wind, and Fire compilation, but not that one. Okay, so that's that one. You'll know some of the. Yeah, I was like, I'll know them. Like looking at the names, they don't ring a bell right away. Like I think September sounds like a song, or Shining Star sounds like a star. I don't know. Definitely will find out. It'll take me a little while to get through the CDs. Like I don't get through music very fast because I'm listening to stuff on Spotify. I'm listening to vinyl, listening to CDs, plus watching movies, and I don't know. So, but I definitely will get to the stuff. All right. Next, I got Bruce Hornsby and the Range with the way it is the name of the album there. Bruce Hornsby, another artist I've heard of, and I know. Yeah, I'll leave it on my channel. Um, oh, Mandolin Rain. Oh, such a good song. I really like that song. Um, that's okay. Maybe that's the song I know. Because I was like, I know I've heard that name Bruce Hornsby before, but I'm trying to think what I know him from. Uh, Maybe there's another hit song that I'm not hearing right away. But Mandolin Rain, I know that song. It's a really good song. So that's cool. He's kind of I'm guessing more soft, more uh, I don't know, pop music, but definitely soft, which is what I like. So I'd be interested in hearing that piano, like more like piano music. I'm guessing. Um, all right, Bruce Hornsby. Anybody know more about him? I would love to hear it. Okay, the way it is was a hit. Okay, maybe I've heard that one too. Then. Okay, here's an album. It's called "Way Too Blue: An Introduction to Nick Drake." So, so okay. I'm not sure what is the name of the album. Way to Blue, and introduction name to Nick. Is it Nick Drake? I've heard of Nick Drake. I know he has like an album called Pink Moon that's like really popular, and I know I've heard one of his songs, anyways. But um, well, I see Pink Moon in the thing here. Anyways, so okay, I'll be interested. I know Rob is really good at. He knows he knows a lot of music that I don't know, so I definitely introduced me some stuff, which is always cool. Whoops, they fell out. Sorry about that. I guess it won't stay in there. Yeah. It's an introduction to Nick Drake, so it must be Dick. It must be a Nick Drake thing. Okay, I just don't know his picture that well, I guess. Okay. I don't know if that's like an early Nick Drake or something. All right. Then we got the Best of Madness, the Millennium Collection, 20th Century Masters. I always like these kind of compilation things. They usually do a pretty good job. Madness, I don't know that band. That's interesting. A lot of, looks like some horn sections, a lot of members there. Um, Our House, is that a song I know? It sounds almost familiar. Um, okay, I feel like I see one guy with a horn in his pocket, but and they got kind of those hats that they wear. But anyways, yeah, I don't know anything, so that'll be a whole new experience. Thank you. All right, got some Paul McCartney. I'm now collecting. I'm trying to collect all Paul McCartney CDs. So I knew Rob said he's going to send me some Paul McCartney, so that's good. I'm glad to get some to add to my collection and try to get all. I think I counted like 20 some 20 some albums, not including some of his more cover albums, whatever. But yeah, Flowers and Dirt. I'm not super familiar with this one. But it's definitely one I want to need to listen to, get more familiar with. Because this is late 80s. Yeah, so this is before, like, I have some of his 90s albums right now, so in late 80s. Let's see. Put It There is a good song. I actually quite like that one. Number six on here. Yeah, I don't recognize the songs right away, but I'm sure I'll know them when I start listening to it. But thank you. Yes, definitely appreciate getting more Paul McCartney. I have 2 Nick Drake's albums, some good stuff. He only released 3. I think he died young, if I remember right. Yeah. All right, then I got Jewel, Spirit. I got another Jewel I'll be showing off. Rob sent me her first album, which I haven't listened to yet, but definitely I was a fairly, I wasn't a big fan, but I liked Jewel stuff. I remember when it came out. She definitely had some good hits. I like the singer songwriters and acoustic guitar players, so she definitely, like, that first album, I know, definitely, like, was kind of my kind of album. And then she got a little more poppier, I think, with some of her other albums. So I'm not sure which one this is. I don't know how many albums she made or anything. I'm not as familiar with her discography. Yeah, definitely. I'll probably do deep dive on her at some point. Trying to figure out what songs are here. Let's see. It looks like Hands is a good song. I think I know that one. It's kind of hard because the way they wrote the songs is kind of hard to read, so I'm trying to look at them. I want to say Hands was a big hit for her, but I'm sure I'll see once I start listening to it. Thank you. That's her second. Yeah, okay. That's her second album. So I have her first album over here, Pieces, I think, or Into Pieces. So it's her second album. Okay, Hands. Yeah, Hands was a good song. I thought so. I remember that being a big hit on the radio. All right. The best of Huey Lewis and the News. That's great. I really like Huey Lewis and the News. They're one of my favorite bands of the 80s period. What was the Sports was an album it's probably my favorite. It's my favorite Huey Lewis and News album, and I put it on our 50 Essential Albums of the 80s. I was the one that put that one up on, and there's another one that I like quite a bit that they have. There's like 2 albums I think that I had in my top 100 favorite albums list that I really enjoy, and I feel like when I say Huey Lewis and News, sometimes I get some flack, like I don't know. I think Trey from Reactions Classics doesn't like Huey Lewis and News. So I know he doesn't like him, and I don't know how many other people, but I don't know. It's because they're kind of a catchy pop band, I would say. But I love that kind of music, and I really like Huey Lewis's vocals. I think it was really good, They put some horns in the music, but it's really nice, catchy pop music. I mean, you got Heart of Rock and Roll, Heart and Soul, Doing It All for My Baby, Do You Believe in Love? Great song, one of my favorites. Trouble in Paradise, The Power of Love. I mean, amazing song from uh, Back to the Future. I mean, Oscar nominated song. So that's cool. I'm glad you got some Back to the Future in here. That's good stuff. This Is It. Um, it's hard to say. Power of Love is so good. If This Is It, it's one of those two. Um, that is like my favorite Huey Lewis song. And of course, Back in Time is great. But anyways, Bad is Bad, Working for a Living, yeah, that's good. It's All Right, Stuck with You, I Want a New Drug, yeah, very good. 100 Years from Now, So Little Kindness, To the Day After, and When the Time Has Come. So 16 songs. Don't recognize all of them, but definitely recognize the big ones there. That's great. Got Power of Love on there as well. So yeah, definitely really like that one. Okay, Briar, go lock up. Okay, well, I appreciate it, Briar. All right, I got Steven Stills. All right, from Buffalo Springfield and Crosby, Stills, Nash. I'm guessing it's one of his solo albums. Oh yeah, it's got "Love the One You're With." That's the big one from Steve that I know of Steven Stills. So this is his I don't know. I'm guessing this is like his first solo, maybe while he was with Crosby, Stills, and Nash. 'Cause I know they did some solo work, of course. I know he did some work with a group called Manassas, I think, that I'm not as familiar with, but I saw Crosby, Stills, and Nash in concert back in, I think, 2005 um, as Jimi Hendrix Senior Club, so that's two of the greatest guitar players of all time. Um, but I saw Crosby, Stills, and Nash in concert back, I think, 2005 or something like that. And they played a lot of course, Crosby, Stills, Nash song. Crosby and Nash had a new album out called Crosby and Nash, I believe, a really good album, and they were promoting that album. But Stills also played "Love the One You're With" was one of the songs they played, which was really cool. So I got to see Steven Stills sing that live back in 2005. Really cool. But yeah, great. Yeah, I'm sure. I need to listen to more Steven Stills. All right. All right, man. Next, I got Frank Sinatra Gold. Very cool. I don't have any Frank Sinatra. My dad's become like a big Sinatra fan. He listens to him all the time. And my dad wasn't a Sinatra fan growing up that I can remember. Um, and then just in the last, I don't know, 10 years, 5 years, my dad just was always listening to, I'm not always, but he listened to a lot of Frank Sinatra. So I've been listening to a little more Frank Sinatra since my dad's got into it. And I mean, definitely one of the greatest singers of all time. I mean, uh, one of the most popular in the 40s, 50s, and 60s. Like he's like one of the few, or is he one of the only artists that like had a number one hit in like the 40s, 50s, 60s, and maybe in the 70s or something like that. Crazy like that. He had like 4 different decades where he had like a number one hit. He won 3 album of the years in the Grammys in the 60s. So this is like a compilation best of, it looks like. Yeah, Young at Heart, All the Way, Witchcraft, Nice and Easy, My Funny Valentine, of course, good song there. I Get a Kick Out of You, The Lady is a Tramp, good song, I like that one. I Got You Under My Skin, good one there. Three Coins in the Fountain, I'm guessing off of the movie. Uh, Same Old Saturday Night, Don't Worry About Me, and Chicago. Um, so I don't know if this is a compilation because there's not a lot of songs I know off of there, like a best of. So I don't know if that's an actual album or what, but still, don't mind getting some Frank Sinatra. Definitely the great thing about Rob is like my CD collection has definitely been diversified or something. I don't know if that's the right word, but definitely has more of a variety to it because Rob's getting me some stuff that I'm not as familiar with. Yeah, Stills is my favorite. Yeah, I really like Nash. I really like the Crosby and Nash album is so good. I think a lot of that's because Nash has some really great songs on there, and I do love a lot of Nash's stuff and like Our House and Teach Your Children, Just Song Before I Go, whatever. But Stills is like the genius behind the group. Like he's really the heart of that group. Like I don't think they could exist without Stills. Not only because his writing like "Sweet Judy Blue Eyes," the greatest song they've ever done, but also his guitar playing is just one. It's one of the greatest guitar players. But he also played like bass and like did drums. I don't remember. He played just about every instrument on those albums and really like spent a lot of time in the studio mixing them and stuff. And yeah, just an incredible musician. I feel like everyone should have at least one Scott Tran. There you go. Unfortunately, it doesn't have "My Way." Yeah, right. "My Way" is a great song. That would have been a great one. All right, so really happy I got Tom Petty "Full Moon Fever." Uh, yeah, really great album. I put this in our 50 Essential Albums. I think I put this in our. Did I put this in our 80s, or is this a 90s album? Maybe I didn't put this in. Maybe I'm no. I did. I can't remember now if I put this on our. I did. Yeah, I did. Yeah, I put it in our 80s because it's 1989. So yeah, I put it in our 50 Central 80s albums, which I was happy to do. And I just got into them recently. Tom Petty this last year. They were the first. Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers was the first deep dive I did. In fact, when I started doing these deep dives on different artists, and Full Moon Fever, I think I'd say is like my third favorite album. My first was Into the Great Wide Open was my favorite. Then Damn the Torpedoes was my second, and then Full Moon Fever. Of course, that's the band, and this is the solo. So this is my favorite solo. He only did 3 solo albums, but this is my favorite out of his 3 solo. But my third favorite out of all of Tom Petty's albums, anyways, Full Moon Fever. This is his first album that he did away from. He was still with the band, but it has my favorite Tom Petty song on it, "Free Fallin'," which has always been my favorite ever since the '90s, since I was like in middle school and junior high. Like I always loved that song. But then you got "I Won't Back Down," another classic Tom Petty. "Running Down a Dream," another hit. I mean, he had a bunch of hits on here. "Feel a Whole Lot Better," good cover song from the Byrds. "You're So Bad," that's a great song. "Depending on You" is pretty good. "The Apartment Song." Yeah, it's a really good album. So yeah, definitely that's one I'm really familiar with. And definitely love it. This is the one I know that Rob was going to send me because he sent me Eagles Greatest Hits Volume 1. And so to complete that, he sent me Greatest Hits Volume 2, which is Volume 1 is really early hits. These are some mid 70s, I guess, the late 70s, whenever they were around. I haven't done a deep dive on them yet, but I will. But I mean, you got "Hotel California," my favorite Eagle song. "Heartache Tonight," great. "Seven Bridges Road," really cool, like acapella song. "Victim of Love," that was off of the Hotel California album. That's cool. "Side Cafe," I'm not as familiar with where that comes from. "Live in the Fast Lane," another, I believe that was Hotel California, another kind of more faster rock song. "I Can't Tell You Why," so good. "New Kid in Town," off of Hotel California, great song. "The Long Run," off of, I think they had an album called "The Long Run." And "After the Thrill Is Gone," I'm not as familiar with, but yeah, obviously Eagles are amazing. One of my favorite bands. All right, looks like this is "Midnight Oil." "Diesel and Dust," it looks like the name of the album, but "Midnight Oil," I'm guessing the name of the band, which I'm not familiar with. Yeah, don't know anything about them, so it'll be a total new discovery for me. And you guys can tell me in the chat if you know more about them than I do. But interesting, kind of a deserty type cover there. All right, I got 2 more albums. Looks like this is Travis, the Man Who. So I don't know. Travis is the artist. The Man Who's the name of the album. I'm not familiar with. Got a nice white CD there. Australian rock band. Okay, cool. It's snowing though. I don't know where they are where it's snowing. Uh, Good view there. But all right, so another new discovery for me. I know, like I said, Rob is called Rob Scur because he knows the smaller bands than other people know. All right, then we end with actually one of my favorite Paul McCartney albums, Memory Almost Full. Really great album. I mean, I don't know about ranking right off the top of my head. I would almost say, oh, so okay, so maybe the Midnight Oils is the Australian band, and Travis is the Scottish rock band. So I got Australian and Scottish. Okay, cool. Because I got some Czech rock music as well when I was in Czech Republic. But yeah, Memory was full. Really great album. Uh, I want to say it might be my top 5 albums of my car. Pretty close to that. It came right after Chaos and Creation in the Backyard, which is my favorite, my second favorite Paul McCartney album, I should say. And this came right after that, and it's another just, he was just, Paul McCartney to me was like, when you had Flaming Pie, Driving Rain, Chaos and Creation in the Backyard, Memory Was Full, and New. I really love that. That's like some of my favorite Paul McCartney albums, and they're their later albums. And he put just one really great album after another. But I feel like I like this album more than most people. I feel like most people don't talk about Memory Almost Full. That's a cool album cover there. There's Paul McCartney in the chair in the. But yeah, Dance Tonight was pretty. It's a fairly hit song. It was in a commercial, but it's really cool. He plays like the mandolin or ukulele in it. But it's a nice upbeat song. Really good. Ever Present Past, great song. See Your Sunshine, really good song. Only Mama Knows, I think, was kind of an interesting song, a rock song. You Tell Me is great. Or no, Mr. Bellamy, that was kind of an interesting song. I like it. Let's see. That Was Me, great song. Feet in the Clouds, great song. The End of the End, that's like top 10 favorite Paul McCartney song. I do love that song. On Adam's channel, they were doing like top 10 favorite songs of the 2000s. And I think I put this in there towards the bottom, but it was in my top 10 favorite songs of the 2000s. Great song about, someday you're going to die, what, and more positivity, even if you die, you want your life being celebrated and you want people to enjoy, your memory of your life. Really good. Nod Your Head, nice rock song, but yeah, really great album. So that's my unboxing of the CDs that Rob got me. So thank you a lot, Rob. I really appreciate you helping me out with my CD collection, and also you're introducing me to a lot of new stuff as well. I definitely got some stuff I really enjoy that I know. But let's see, I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 CDs there. So adding to my 48. So that'd be, what's the math on that? It's over 60 now, right? 63 CDs or something like that in my collection. Very cool. Yeah. Oh, I know this is a pretty big stack for me to have to get through. Because I got a stack here I'm going to show that I haven't gone through yet. I'm getting through them, but just it's a little bit slow moving. Oh, 63, yeah. 63 albums. So I'm getting there, Briar. I'm right behind you, Briar. I just need 900 some more, 937 more or something. Anyway, so I thought since I'm in the live stream, I thought it might be fun to showcase what I've got so far in my CDs. You saw those 15 that I got. I don't know how many people I got in the chat. I got Rob, and I know Briar was in the chat. All right. So this stack of CDs are CDs that I got recently, or somewhat recently, that I haven't listened to yet. Some of these I know the albums already. I just haven't listened to these CDs yet. Because a lot of times when I get CDs, yeah, I was gonna say about old Z Rob, right? um, uh, when I get a CD or vinyl, I always put it like in a stack to listen to, because I like to listen to it when I buy a CD uh, or an out or vinyl. And same thing if I buy a movie. If I buy a movie, I'll put it in a stack, and because I want to watch it before I put it into my collection, before I kind of put it amongst my other stuff. And so before I, what do you call it, file it, file it with my other stuff, I like to give it a listen. Anyways, so this is a stack that I haven't listened to, and it was much bigger. I've been trying to listen to more CDs lately, trying to get my stack down. But I still got decent stack, and some of these are albums that Rob sent me that I haven't gotten to yet, and I plan on getting to them. And I think I might have one that Adam got me a while ago, but I showed these already. I got Off the Ground from Paul McCartney, recent physical media hunt that I did. I'm trying to think. Oh, I got this at a place called Vintage Stock in Kansas City, anyways. But Off the Ground, haven't listened to it yet. I've listened to it before. I know there's some good stuff. Yeah, hold off for a little while I try to get all these listened. But I know Off the Ground, Looking for Changes, I think is a pretty good song on here. I think there's some decent stuff on here. I don't know if it's one of my favorites, but still, I'm excited to listen to that. Like I said, I'm trying to get all my Paul McCartney CDs, because Rob just got me two here, Memory Almost Full and Flowers in the Dirt. So I got those two. I've got this. It's three. I'm trying to find room to put this stuff in. I don't got any room on my table. Then I got Pipes of Peace, one I've showed off recently. I really love this album. It's one of my favorite Paul McCartney albums, and I feel like nobody cares about this album but me. I don't know why. I'm a much bigger fan of it. I'm trying to think what's the clip. I don't see the track listing. But Through Our Love is one of my favorite Paul McCartney songs, and it's on this album. And it's really underrated. Nobody talks about it, but it's a great love song. I think a lot of people don't like it because Pipes of Peace was kind of a leftover songs from, I think, Venus and Mars. It's what they didn't put on Venus and Mars. They kind of left over and put it on this. And I don't know if that's why people don't like it, but I still think some good stuff here. I even like the two Michael Jackson songs. He does two duets with Michael Jackson. Say, 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 and This Is the Man, I think it is. But yeah, good stuff. The Other Me, really good song. Anyways, but there's some So Bad's really good. There's some really good stuff on here. Then I got Tug of War, or maybe I'm thinking Tug of War. Maybe it was Tug of War. Sorry. Yeah, this is Types of Pieces, like songs that left over, I think, from this album. Tug of War, another 80s Paul McCartney album. So that makes 5 right now. Plus, I know I got Flaming Pie and Chaos Creation and Driving Rain. So I got like 7 or so. Plus, I got on vinyl, I've got Band on the Run. But anyways, Here Today, amazing song about the death of John Lennon, basically. And Wonderlust, really great song. You got Ebony Ivory, the classic Stevie Wonder duet. But yeah, so I haven't listened to that one yet. It's been a while since I've listened to it, so I'm not 100% sure I'll love it or not. But I got Jewel, Pieces of You. This is the first Jewel album that I haven't gotten to yet, but I will. But I know I've heard it before, of course. Who Will Save My Soul, big hit. Foolish Games, really good song off here. And my favorite is You Were Meant for Me is actually my favorite song off of here. But yeah, so I got 2 Jewel albums. I'm guessing Rob must be a fan of Jewel. I got it's Marion Chapin Carpenter, Come On, Come On, that Rob gave me. Yeah, that I haven't gotten to yet, and I'm not real familiar, so it'll be kind of a discovery. Marion Chapin Carpenter. This is one that Adam got me a while ago, and I haven't gotten into it only because I've listened to all of Tom Petty's like discography, and this is the best of. So I'm like, all right, I'm already familiar with all the songs, but I still want to get to listen to this to kind of get the overall kind of feel for his music. But I mean, 2 discs, Oh my gosh, you got 38 songs. So, I mean, and it's going to take me a while to get through this because there's so many songs, but yeah, it's got all of his best stuff on here. It's really cool. I love the packaging. It's really cool. All right, another classic that Rob gave me, and I've heard this album before, of course, but I haven't heard the specific CD that he got me, so definitely want to get to. It's a double album, whatever. Um, it's funny. I haven't been like a huge fan of this album, but the more I listen to it, the more I'm starting to get. Because I know some people that this is their favorite Bob Dylan album, and maybe their favorite album of all time. So it's definitely one. I feel like if I listen to it more, I'll get more into it. Because you got Visions of Johanna, I Want You, Stuck Inside the Mobile, Memphis Blues Again. I like that song. It's a great song. Just Like a Woman, really good song. Um, Sad Eyed Lady of the Lowlands might be my favorite song on the album. It's a long song too, and I think it's a really good one. It's another one Rob got me recently, the Wallflowers, Red Letter Days. So yeah, Bob Dylan. Here I got Bob Dylan. Now we got Jacob Dylan, Bob Dylan's son here with the Wallflowers. So yeah, interested in hearing that because they had some hits in the '90s period, if I'm right. This one Rob got me. They Might Be Giants, which is a band I wasn't familiar with. Looks like 29 albums, so quite a big album. So I'm interested. I don't know much about it. Getting through what that is. I don't know if this counts as a Paul McCartney album. It's his offshoot band, the Firemen, I think they're called. And this is one of the Firemen albums. I think it might be the first one. But Electric Arguments. Yeah, Electric Arguments, I think that was their first album. I remember it coming out, and I don't remember really much about it because I don't know if it had any like hits or anything. It was just uh, it was different. I'm guessing it was a different style. That's why he changed it to the Firemen and not just a Paul McCartney single. Love the cover though. It's a great album cover. All right, and the next two are ones I bought when I was in Český Krumlov, Czech Republic. I saw a place they were selling albums and stuff, and I was like, I need to get something foreign to put in my collection because I thought nobody else will have this in their CD collection, so I get to show it off to people. But I got this one's called Top 20, and then the Czech Republic there. I think that's the sign for Czech Republic. So you got 20 songs. These are more recent, like pop songs, and it's mostly Czech. There's some American songs as well. Like Justin Bieber has a song on here, and Post Malone, I see. So you got some a mixture, but there's some Czech pop on here. And this is called Rockline, 1970, 1974. And these are Czech rock bands from the 70s. And I listened to some of these songs, and I think they're actually quite good. I was like, I don't know what they're singing because they're singing Czech. And some I think are in English, if I remember right. But yeah, actually some pretty cool stuff here. The 2 CD set there, but yeah, so that's one I haven't got to yet, but see, it might be Giants, maybe too quirky for you. Oh, that's right. That's right. You told me that they did the Map in the Middle song. Yeah, so I know that song. Cuban artist. Okay. All right, so those are albums in my stack of what I haven't listened to yet. So my other rest of my CDs are ones that I've listened to since I bought them. Be interesting to see how this works out. All right, first I got Adele. This is 21, her second album. Really great album. Actually, my second favorite album for hers, and the next album's my favorite. But I mean, like you said, this album sold tons of records. It was one of the best-selling albums probably the last 20 years. And you got Rolling in the Deep, won, of course, Grammys for Album of the Year. Rolling in the Deep won Song and Record of the Year. So huge. But yeah, Rolling in the Deep, of course, big song. Rumor Has It, really good song. Set Fire to the Rain was a hit. And then Someone Like You is my favorite. That is a great song. I love Adele. She's one of my favorite female artists. Even though I only really like 2 of her CDs or 2 of her albums. She has an amazing voice. I love her voice. And then I have 25, which is the third album, next one after 21. Um, and this is actually my favorite Adele. I like it. 21 is great, and this is great. I mean, it's just barely, I'd barely put it above 21, but I don't know. If you like really good vocals, I recommend these two. Hello, the very first song, of course, won Album of the Year. Hello won Song of the Year and Record of the Year. I think she's like the only artist to do that twice, to win the big three Grammy Awards twice. Anyways, just absolutely incredible. Again, sold a bunch of records. Yeah, Hello is one of my favorites. I love Hello. That's my favorite Adele song. In fact, I'm going to do a deep dive on her. I've got it ready. But she's one I'll be doing fairly soon in the future because she only has 4 albums, so it's kind of easy to do a discography of her. But Send My Love to Your New Lover, great. When We Were Young, I love that song. That's another favorite of mine of hers. I mean, so good. Remedy, A Million Years Ago is a really great song off here. I mean, there are so many great songs here. Some of my favorite albums of all time, those two, Adele. All right. Then we got The Best of the Animals, which I just got recently from Mike from Did You See That? So shout out to Mike. Thank you for that. And I know I got this because Adam recommended it. Because Mike was looking for something to get me for my birthday, and he bought this for me for my birthday, and I got it. So really cool. Animals. I listened to the album. There's a pretty big album, 20 songs. I'd say there's like 3 really good songs off here. Most everything else is a little too bluesy for me. I feel like they're too bluesy. I'm not a big blues fan. So artists that it's not nothing against them. It's just, I don't know, it's just not my style necessarily. But I mean, House of Rising Sun, great. Don't Let Me Be Misunderstood, great. We've Got to Get Out of This Place is my favorite Animal song and one of my favorite songs of the 60s. I absolutely love that song. That's the one I listen to all the time. Besides that, I'm not as familiar with. I listened to this recently, and I would say I wasn't as crazy about most of the stuff on here because, like I said, it's just a little too bluesy. But Eric Burden is like one of the great rock singers of all time. He is an amazing singer. All right, then I got Garth Brooks, The Ultimate Hits. Yeah, I actually really like Garth. I'm not a big country music fan, but I really like Garth Brooks. He's definitely my favorite country music artist. And I actually was a fan back in the early 90s when I first started getting into music. My older sister, Abby, was really into Garth Brooks, and her friends were. And so I kind of just copied my sister, and I started listening to Garth Brooks because she was. And I looked up to her because she was my older sister. And yeah, so I used to listen to Garth Brooks all the time anyways. But I feel like even if you're not a country music fan, this is some really good music. I mean, because I still listen to this and love it, even if I'm not a country music fan. 2 discs. I mean, again, looks like 33 songs. Lots of great stuff on here. I mean, if you don't know him, I mean, what can you say? I mean, Friends in Low Places. If Tomorrow Never Comes. Just to name some great songs here. To Make You Feel My Love, which is a song came off of the movie Love Floats, I think, or We Shall Be Free was big. The Dance is my favorite. I love The Dance. That's one of my favorite songs of all time. I just that's my favorite Garth Brooks song, but really great. Thunder Rolls, amazing. That Summer, really great. The River, Unanswered Prayers, What She's Doing Now, Rodeo. Yeah. I listened to this, and man, it is one of my favorite compilation albums to listen to because he has so many great hits. There's something I got from Rob. It's a Buddy Holly collection. 50 songs. 50. And I listened to this recently. It's great. Like, I really like this album, or this compilation album. And I love it because it really definitely starts with, like I said, his career wasn't that long, but it's crazy that he has 50 songs, and it feels like he was only around for a couple of years before he died, in 1959. But he started off at the beginning, and there's a lot of songs I'm not familiar with. It seems like it's the earlier stuff. So it's kind of cool when you listen to it and you're like, I don't know this stuff as well. And then yeah, once you get uh, towards the end of CD1, all of a sudden you get into these really huge hits. Like Words of Love, Not Fade Away, Every Day is my favorite Buddy Holly song. Um, oh Boy, So Good, Peggy Sue. Anyways, that's the end of side one. The side two is just a bunch of great songs. Um, Maybe Baby, Rave On, yeah. Um, it's So Easy. I mean, lots of great stuff here, and even stuff I don't know. But yeah, great, great compilation album of Buddy Holly. It has like everything you want, Buddy Holly. All right. Then I got Mr. Tambourine Man by the Byrds. Uh, Number 20 on my top 100 favorite albums. I just did a album review for this recently, in fact. Um, and definitely want to do a deep dive on them. Want to go through everything. Uh, I mean, come on, invents the folk rock genre. I love folk rock music. Uh, has one of my favorite songs of the '60s, "Mr. Tambourine Man." I mean, great cover song, one of the greatest cover songs of all time. Bob Dylan, but I feel a whole lot better. Really great song off of here. Every song is really good, I think, because I don't know if the song would be good without them. I think it's because they're so good that they just every song they take, the harmonies just make it so great. But the Bells of Remedy I really like. All I Really Want to Do, another cover song from Bob Dylan, and Charms of Freedom. I mean, love this album. Great harmonies, great '60s music. All right, this is another one Rob got me. This is Strange Brew, the best of Cream. And I'm not like the biggest fan of Cream necessarily. I need to get more into the music. But of course, I listened to this recently, and definitely the songs I knew were great. Like "Sunshine of Your Love" is one of the best rock songs ever. Like I love that song. It's just an amazing song to listen to. Musicianship wise, off the charts. But Crossroads is real good, and then White Room, excellent song. Everything else I'm not familiar with, and I would say I'm not like a huge fan of a lot of their music. It's again a little too bluesy. I know Eric Clapton loves the kind of more bluesy style. So a lot of them I was kind of, and there's lots of just them jamming because they're so good musicians. They jammed a lot, and I would say like yeah, most of the songs I was like not into necessarily, but definitely those three are really good off of here. Which I know that might disappoint some of you. Some of you are maybe big Cream fans. Uh, so I know Nick's a fan of Cream. I can't say I'm as big a fan of them, but definitely some good stuff there. All right, and one of my favorite artists, I got Jim Croce's "You Don't Mess Around with Jim." Love this album. My favorite Jim Croce album. One of my favorite albums of all time. I love this packaging too. I love the. This is the last album he made. I think he only made like 3 albums. And I think he died before this came out. In fact, died in a plane wreck, I believe. But you don't mess around with Jim was a big song off of here. But this has so many just absolutely amazing. I mean, this is one of the greatest singer songwriters of all time. Great acoustic guitar work. But New York's Not My Home. Love that. That's a good one for you, Rob. New York is your home. But New York's Not My Home is a great song. I love that one. Photographs and Memories. I mean, come on, one of my favorite songs of all time. Operator. That's not the way it feels. Oh, so good. Time in the Bottle. My favorite Jim Croce song. I mean, this has like 4 of my favorite Jim Croce songs on it. It's just insane how good this album is. But yeah, excellent album. Which I have a Jim Croce album up there. Life and Times is a vinyl I've got, which is another really good Jim Croce album. All right, now I'm getting to one of my favorite artists of all time, John Denver. We start with Poems, Prayers, and Promises. Uh, we'll just say this is one of my favorite albums of all time. It will be coming up on my greatest albums list here. Yeah, it's amazing. Love John Denver. Love his singer. Good. Love the singer songwriter in him. Uh, Love the acoustic guitar work. Great vocals. Just amazing all around. And not talked enough about. People don't talk about these albums. John Denver made some great albums, and nobody talks about them. I feel like, and they should be in the top 100 albums somewhere. Someone should have it on the list besides me. But Poems, Prayers, and Promises, one of my favorite John Denver songs on here. Let It Be cover song, pretty cool. My Sweet Lady's great. Junk, Paul McCartney out cover. Take Me Home, Country Roads, probably the biggest song on here. Really great song. One that's most played. It's the theme song for West Virginia, or it's West Virginia's state song. In fact, I guess You'd Rather Be in Colorado, great song. Sunshine on My Shoulders, probably my favorite John Denver song. Just a beautiful, beautiful song. Anyways, and then Fire and Rain, another great cover song from James Taylor. But yeah, this is my favorite John Denver album. Definitely check that out. But I'm not done with John Denver yet. We then got Rocky Mountain High, which is an album we're going to do a review at some point on SoundLab Studios on his channel. I've recommended that one to do for a group review on, because definitely probably my second favorite John Denver album. I guess the Sam RCA record there. But I mean, Rocky Mountain High, one of his best songs ever. Great hit. Mother Nature's Son, another Beatles cover. Really good. Prisoners, amazing song on here. Goodbye Again, huge hit. And then ends with the Season Suite, which is it's like 5 songs put together called the Suite. So they kind of tie in together as like one big song, but there's 5 different parts. There's summer, fall, winter, late winter, early spring, and then ends with spring. And it has a lot of same themes throughout the whole suite, but really great. Some really great stuff in that suite anyways. But yeah, really great John Denver album. And then my last John Denver album I've got is Back Home Again. My third favorite album is they're got a little bit different opening there. I don't know if it's not RCA, but anyways, yeah, I think Rob likes John Denver. Yeah, not enough people talk about him. So much great stuff. But yeah, another great album. This is more country. He has a little more of a country feel to this album, I would say. Back Home Again, of course, big hit for him. Matthew, love that song because they talk about Kansas in it. Thank God I'm a Country Boy. I don't like that song, but it's his most countryish song, and it was a big hit though, kind of for him, I think, or at least I feel like he played it a lot. Annie song, I mean, one of the greatest love songs of all time. My mom went down the aisle to this song. I mean, that's how my parents love that song. Sweet Surrender, and then This Old Guitar. So good. One of my favorite John Denver songs. All right, we'll pass John Denver. All right, this is the one Rob gave me, The Best of Sam Cooke. And yeah, Sam Cooke's one of my favorite singers from like the 50s. I want to say 50s, maybe into 60s era, I guess you'd say, but definitely 50s era. I'm not as familiar with 50s artists as I am with 60s, let's say, and 70s, but I definitely been getting more into the 50s. And yeah, Sam Cooke, I really love his stuff. And this is a really good compilation album, that the best of that Rob got me. You Send Me, #1 hit, huge song, great song. Let's see, Wonderful World, great song, love that. Chain Gang, great song. Cupid is my favorite Sam Cooke song. In fact, I used to hear that on the radio all the time growing up when I listened to Oldie Station. I always enjoyed that song a lot. But Twisted Night Away, great song. And then there's some songs on here I remember I wasn't familiar with, but were really good. And I forget what those are right now on top of my head. I have to listen to it again. I feel like some of the last songs on here maybe. But yeah, really great stuff. He's a really great singer, Sam Cooke. And if you haven't gone into him, I recommend trying some of the stuff if you're not into 50s yet. All right, let's see. This is the one Bob Dylan album I have besides Blonde on Blonde. I have Blonde on Blonde CD that Bob got me, but this is one I bought myself. This is actually my favorite Bob Dylan album, which I don't know if that's a surprise, maybe, because nobody talks about this album really, but it's another side of Bob Dylan. Uh, so this is 64, it looks like 1964. This is before he went electric, when he was still just a folk singer. Though this is more of a pop year, his his stuff even before this was like real folk, like protest songs, I think, more or less. But this he tried to write a little more commercial album songs. I would say not all of them. There's still some interesting songs on here, but I feel like he tried to make it a little more popular folk music. And yeah, I think it's an excellent album. It was like in my 30s or something like that, in my top 100 favorite albums list, I think, if I remember right. It's somewhere in the, or I should say top 40 or so. But yeah, I think it's a really great album. Obviously, Highway 61 Revisited, that's probably my second favorite. Then Blood and Tracks is probably my third favorite. And then Blonde on Blonde is probably my fourth favorite. Anyways, all four excellent albums, I think. But I think people don't talk about this much. And this is, I think more people need to listen to this if they haven't, or should be talked about more. I don't know. All I really want to do, which was covered by the Byrds, in fact. Chimes of Freedom, song that the Byrds covered, but really good song. Um, there's two Ramona, really great song, kind of a really hidden gem song. I Shall Be Free, number 10, and Motorcycle Nightmare. Those are just wild songs, and I enjoy them because they're just he's just going off. He's not really singing. He's just kind of talking through these songs with this. It just feels like he's just rambling, like just off the top of his head. Like Motorcycle Nightmare is kind of a funny song though, because he's kind of telling the story of like his motorcycle like breaking down, and then he's at this farm, and the farmer wants him to work or something like that for a place to stay, and he's trying to get out of it. So there's kind of a funny story behind that. Very interesting song. I Shall Be Free, number 10. It's funny too. It makes me laugh, but it's just kind of what should I say? It just feels like yeah, I don't know what the word is, but he just rambling, just weird stuff in there that doesn't really connect at all, but it's funny. Like he's talking about getting in a fight with Cassius Clay, which is like Cassius Clay would kill you in a fight. Bob Dylan. But there's a lot of funny stuff in there. I like those songs. They're weird, but I like them. But My Back Pages, like top 5 favorite Bob Dylan song. I love My Back Pages. One of the best. Also covered by the Byrds. And then It Ain't Me, Babe, another song that's probably my top 5 favorite Bob Dylan songs, which the Turtles covered. But I love this. Bob Dylan's version is really, really good. It Ain't Me, Babe. Such an interesting song, too. But really, actually, pretty good vocals, considering Bob Dylan's not known for being a very, very good singer. All right, I got the best of Aretha Franklin, another CD that Rob sent me, and I listened to this recently. And like, I'm not a big Aretha Franklin person, but I mean, this is some really good stuff. I mean, she's obviously one of the greatest singers of all time. So, I mean, I think it's worth getting just because, like I said, like Rob said, everybody should have Frank Sinatra, and everybody probably should have some Aretha Franklin as well, just to, you know, just one of the great singers. So why not have it in your list? But yeah, there's so many great songs here. Actually, I mean, she had a lot of good hits. Chain of Fools, really great. Say a Little Prayer. You Make Me Feel Like a Natural Woman. Of course, Carole King wrote that, and she sings really good. But of course, Franklin's like the one you think about when you think about that song, and she nails it. Respect. To me, that's a song I heard on the radio. I feel like the song I've heard on the radio the most was Respect, and that was a big hit. And I think it was like in commercials, but obviously, great song there. Yeah, I Never Loved a Man the Way I Love You. Spanish Heart. I mean, yeah, Spanish Harlem. Is that a Bob Dylan song? I think I saw it on the other album. Anyways, but yeah, still a lot of good stuff there. Aretha Franklin. All right, another album that Rob sent me, Norah Jones, Feels Like Home. I don't know if this was right after her first album was a huge album. I need to get that one. It won like album of the year and all this stuff. So this is, I think, after that one. But I mean, if you want smooth, like this is like ultimate, like smooth, soft music. Uh, Nora Jones has like this like really smooth voice and more ballad. I don't know, pop ballad type voice. I don't know if I want to say pop. It's just very like slow piano. I don't know, old school music or something. I don't know what to call it, but really pretty music here. Sunrise, really great opener. Uh, I can't remember the songs because they all kind of blend in together for me. So I don't remember individual songs, but yeah, still really good stuff. I want to listen to her first album at some point. And I mentioned Carole King, and this is my favorite Carole King album, of course, Tapestry. I mean, one of my favorite albums of all time. It's in my top 20 favorite albums. I haven't gotten to yet on my list, and so it's up there. It's in my top 20 favorite albums of all time. Just amazing, amazing album. And you got the cat there. Briar likes that probably. But I mean, this is like a greatest hits album. I mean, she just got into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, I feel like, just this last year or so. But I mean, incredible writer. She's writing songs for other people before she came out with this. But uh, this is so full of hits. I mean, I know it won Album of the Year. It won Song and Record of the Year. I mean, so it was a huge hit in the Grammys, and also sold tons of records. Huge, huge hit. Uh, let's see. I'm not sure. It came out 71, didn't it? Yeah, it came out in 1971, which 71 was just a crazy good year for albums. But I mean, I Feel the Earth Move. I'm not actually that big of a fan of that song, and it's one of her most popular. Like, I feel like anytime I see her on like footage of her singing, she always sings that song. But So Far Away, amazing song. Probably my favorite song on here, I would say, is So Far Away. I love that song. My favorite Carole King song, but It's Too Late is great. Beautiful, great. You've Got a Friend, like I said, I think it won like Song of the Year or something. When James Taylor put out an album, I think the same year, and they did a duet, and that might have won Song of the Year. It might be James Taylor's version. I can't remember, but that's great. Will You Love Me Tomorrow? Great song. I mean, these are all big hit songs, just after another. Tapestry is a really good song. It's not a big hit, but it's kind of underrated. And then you end with You Make Me Feel Like a Natural Woman, which I said, big hit for Aretha Franklin. Carole King's version is really good as well. I mean, she can really sing, besides being a great piano player and songwriter. All right, I got this from Rob Lightning Seeds, and I need to listen to it more because I listened to it, and it's like 90s pop rock, I want to say, if I remember right. Because I did listen to it, but I don't remember too much about it. So I need to listen to it more to kind of let it sink in because I'm not familiar with any of the songs. So I can't say. I mean, it's good. Like I said, it's good pop rock. I want to say kind of music, if I remember right. Um, but yeah, definitely need to give them. I don't know anything about Lightning Seeds. They're kind of more obscure band of the '90s. It sounds like, but definitely has that '90s sound to it. And yeah, and I listen to '90s music. Called Cloud Cuckoo Land is the name of the album, which I looked on Spotify and I couldn't find this album on Spotify. Uh, so I guess it's a good thing I got a physical copy. But yeah, so yeah, I'll have to check it out some more to really get a good review on it. This is actually one of my favorite albums of all time. My favorite John Mayer album, Room for Squares. This is his first album, and I remember I was in high school when this came out, and it was big. And I just remember hearing his songs and like, who is this? This is amazing. Like I was so blown away. No Such Thing was like a huge hit. First hit I remember coming out of here. I remember there was a VH1 video, a music video. I used to watch VH1 and seeing this and like it was just a cool discovery because like I said, I love singer songwriters. I love acoustic guitar playing, and this album is pretty much all acoustic guitar playing. And he's, I mean, I think he's a great singer, a great songwriter, and a great guitar player. I mean, he's just one of those guys that's a triple threat, like I think out there. And when I picked this album up, I was like, wow, every song is amazing. Like it's one of those few albums where you just like, there's not a bad song on here, and it's very hard to get to that kind of album. So it's, like I said, one of my favorite albums. I won't say where. I'll just say it's in my top 20 favorite albums, and I'll get to it at some point on my albums list. Uh, but yeah, No Such Thing, big hit. Why Georgia, amazing song. Um, I think that was a hit maybe as well. My Stupid Mouth, great song. Your Body's a Wonderland, that was a big hit song, really great. Neon, great. City of Love. I mean, it's just so good. Like I said, every song amazing. I love that's just an acoustic because I like some of his other stuff, and like Continuum, I think is a really good album. I want to get, and it's more electric though. That one, and it's got some good electric guitar work on there. But I like this because it's just more acoustic, and I do love his acoustic style. It's kind of like the way I feel like about Neil Young. Neil Young is a great guitar player, and like his electric guitar stuff is great. Like I think he does some really good stuff, but I kind of prefer Neil Young's acoustic guitar songs. I don't know, just a little bit more. Yeah, I think he's amazing at it. I don't know. I just have something for acoustic guitar, as you see, because I love Jim Croce, John Denver. I got John Mayer here. I don't know. I do love a good singer songwriter, Bob Dylan, all that kind of stuff. Well, Brian, you're back. So you missed a bit. I was going through my CD collection, so maybe you can go back and later and maybe watch what I put down. uh, but I still got some more CDs to go. But I'm definitely more than halfway through my CD collection. Briar. All right. So here we got some my Paul McCartney stuff. Uh, no, I don't. Sorry, not Paul McCartney yet. I got Meatloaf first. Meatloaf, Bad Out of Hell. And I know Briar's a fan of this album. He has this one, of course, as well. Um, I love this album. It wasn't in my top 20, but I think it's in my top 30. It was in my top 30 favorite albums of all time. And I might have had low. It might be even higher because every time I listen to it, I'm just like, oh, I love this album. It's the first album by Meatloaf. Jim Steinman, of course, wrote the music for it. Hey, Norn, have a good day at work or night at work. I know I work night shift too, so I get it. Yeah, great talking to you and Briar on Z Talks is always great hanging out. Appreciate that. But yeah, this was a huge album. I mean, did a lot. I've talked to some people that just don't like this album at all. And I feel like it's one of those albums that it's like either you get it or you don't, because it's definitely different than most albums. It's hard to compare it to anything else because it's more like a rock opera. It's like you're listening to it and you're like, is this a musical? Like it sounds like it came from some kind of musical, and which makes sense because Meatloaf was did a lot of like Broadway type stuff before he made this album. So, and I love Meatloaf's voice. He has this like really theatrical voice. You can just really hear all the emotions and all the feelings that he has because he can act. And I don't know, it's just a very special like vocals that only I think Meatloaf works for this album. Like if you put someone else here, it probably wouldn't work as well. And it's cool because it's only like 7 songs, and all 7 songs are like really good. So it's like one of those things where it's not very many songs, but it hits on every song for me. I mean, Bad Out of Hell, the first song was I think maybe a mild hit for him. Really cool, like a lot of piano, really good piano here. Uh, there's like a long intro, and then the guitar comes in, and then you get into the song. It's like a real long. It's the first song, long epic. It's great. You took the words right out of my mouth. Hot Summer Nights. Oh, such a good song. Um, yeah, I love meat. Yeah, I know what you mean. Don't take it out of context. You gotta be watching what you say. We have the meat. Uh, yes, Meatloaf, who just passed away a year ago or so. I mean, but Heaven Can Wait, oh, really good song on here. It's not a big hit. It's more of a ballad, but man, it's like again, it's like you're listening to a musical, and you're getting like the cool intro and the love song, and then you're getting this cool ballad. It's like, oh, so good. All Revved Up and No Place to Go, really good rock song. Again, underrated. 2 Out of 3 Ain't Bad is like the biggest hit on here. Really great song. It's really nice, catchy. Then Paradise by Dashboard Light is my favorite song on here, and it's one of my favorite songs of all time. I mean, it's up there in my top 100 favorite songs. It's just amazing song. How it changes style throughout the first part. It's like a really cool rock song, and then you got this duet thing going, and it changes up, from them gonna have sex in a car, I guess, and then her stop right there. I gotta know right now, and then we get into that back and forth is so good. The do you love me, and then let me sleep on it. Love the back and forth between them, and then it's just a funny kind of story. I mean, I don't know if it should be funny, but I kind of laugh at it. Him saying, "Let me sleep on in," and she's saying, "You gotta love me before we have sex," and finally he's like, "Okay, I love you. He'll do anything to have sex," which, I mean, come on, that's the way guys are. But then he regrets it. As soon as he says, "I love you," he regrets it. He's like, I can't wait till the end of time so I don't have to love you anymore. Oh, it's so funny. Such a great song. And then For Crying Out Loud. Anyways, yeah, can't recommend that more. All right, now I'm getting to some of my Paul McCartney, like I said. Cause see, I bought 3 recently, and then Rob bought me 2 just now, so that's 5. So here's number 6. This is Venus and Mars, which actually Adam bought me this a while back, and I finally got around to listen to it. Not one of my favorite Paul McCartney albums, I would say. Listen to it, it's okay. Definitely listen to what the man said is one of my favorite Paul McCartney. That's a great song. Definitely the best one on here. Most everything else I'm not that familiar with. And I listened to it recently, and I already kind of forgot what was on here. Love the packaging though; that's really good. But definitely, I mean, I love that. Adam got me that, so I can put it in my collection. And then one of my favorite Paul McCartneys of all time, one of my favorite albums of the '90s period, and that's Flaming Pie. Paul McCartney, probably my 3rd favorite Paul McCartney album, to be honest. Um, I know Adam really loves this. We did a lot on this. Me and Adam even did a whole album review on this a while back because Adam listened to this for the first time recently. But I love this album packaging. But another digipack. Love the digipack. Um, this came out when it came out in late '90s maybe. Uh, Man, so good though. I always say I talk to people that are like, "Do you like Paul McCartney?" Yeah. It's like, "Do you listen to the '90s stuff?" No. And I'm like, it's like I've heard some people, it feels like they only listen to Paul McCartney in the '70s, '80s, and then they're like I'm not gonna listen to anything past. There's some people that won't listen to music past 1989. It's like that's the cutoff date, and I'm like, there's so much good music in the '90s. Like you gotta give it a chance. And this is one of them. I mean, it's Paul McCartney, for goodness sakes. I'm trying to look for a track listing. I can't find one on here, but obviously, Flame Pie is a great song. Calico Skies is my favorite Paul McCartney song of all time. One of my favorite songs of the '90s. I think it was number 1. Yeah, I think I had it. My favorite song of the 1990s was Calico Skies. Oh, such a great acoustic guitar song. But Little Willow, great song. The songs we've been singing, amazing. There's some other good stuff. Don't see the listing on here, but yeah, definitely, man. Listen to Paul McCartney here. Listen to Flaming Pie, and yeah, this album actually Rob got me this recently, and I listened to it. And this is right after Flaming Pie, in between this and Chaos Creation, anyway. So this is number 8 on my list. 8 McCartney album. This is one I wasn't like super familiar with, or really was like that great, I thought. But then I re-listened to this when Rob got it for me, and I was like, I actually kind of really like this album. I think it's actually, I don't know what it is about me, but I really like Paul McCartney's '90s and 2000s albums. I think are really great. I think some better than his '80s work. I think, and better than most of his '70s work, which is probably crazy because I know people just love a lot of the '70s. Uh, into the early '80s stuff, but I think the '90s, 2000s is some of Paul McCartney's best stuff, and he's getting older. He's getting to his 50s, probably into his 60s, maybe at this point. I don't know. I believe this album came maybe right after his wife died. It seemed, I think it's like the first album maybe, or right around the time his wife died. So obviously he's going through a really tough time. Linda died of cancer and all that, and you wonder what that did for him as a songwriter. What kind of music he would write. But it's like a double album because there's like 15 songs on here, which I didn't realize. Um, I don't know where I put it, but I think it's higher on my list than it used to be. But I mean, "Lonely Road's" a great song. From a love to a friend, actually really good. Uh, "Driving Rain," the title song, really great. Um, let's see, and then my favorite, "Your Loving Flames," my favorite song on here. It's a really great Paul McCartney song. It was a hit song. I think it might have been on the radio at the '90s, but that's definitely one of my favorite Paul McCartney songs, and great love songs. Actually, one of the best love songs he's ever written, to be honest. But yeah, still, I think actually an underrated album, "Driving Rain." My last McCartney album I got, and so this would be 9. So I got 9 McCartney albums. I think there's like 26 or something albums I was going to get out of Paul McCartney. So I still got a ways to go. But this is actually my favorite. Well, this is my second favorite Paul McCartney album. Um, Chaos and Creation in the Backyard. Love that photo of Paul there. But yeah, this came out right after Driving Rain. I think around 2000 maybe. And I remember when it came out and listened to it the first time and thought this was great. Like, it's one of those where like every song is really good on here, I think. Uh, I feel like the highs aren't as high as Flaming Pie. Like, some of my favorite Flaming Pie songs are better, but there's a couple songs I don't like on Flaming Pie. While this one, I like every song on here. So that's why I have it a little bit above, slightly above Flaming Pie, though. It's hard. They're both really good albums. But Fine Line, first song, really good upbeat piano song. Jenny Wren, love that song. English Tea, I really like. It's kind of a fun song. Of course, English loves drinking tea, but yeah, really good song. Too Much Rain, great. Um, Follow Me, really great song. And then my favorite is This Never Happened Before is my favorite song on here. Really great, catchy number. A lot of good piano. I feel like this is more of a piano album where it's some good acoustic guitar. Not as much rock. I feel like he's going away from rock and he's doing more acoustic and piano type songs, and still has it. I mean, this guy's, even his older age, just, man, he writes so many good songs, and a lot of great more pop ballads. All right, this album significant to me. I know Garrett really likes the album. I'm guessing Briar and Nick like this album as well, if I remember right. But this is "What's the Story, Morning Glory" from Oasis. This is a pretty cool album I got recently, actually. This is significant to me because this was like the first album I got back in probably '95 when it came out, I believe. Um, it was the first album that I bought. Like with I think I must have got some like money for chores or something, and I went out and bought this, and I just really wanted this album. But it was when I was first getting into '90s music, because even in the early '90s, I was mostly listening to '60s and '70s music, and like I said, some country, I guess, as well. But I was really mostly into '60s music because became a big Beatles fan in the early '90s. When I was like 10 years old, and so it wasn't that much longer. But then in '95, I started listening to '90s music and listening to current rock radio at the time. And I remember hearing Wonderwall on the radio, and I just loved it. I was like, this is like one of my favorite songs I've ever heard. Like, it was one of those songs that, I don't know, it just blew me away. I love the acoustic guitar beginning, love the vocal work, really catchy rock song. One of their best, obviously, huge hit for them. But after I heard Wonderwall, I was like, who is this band? And then I heard it's Oasis, and they're a British band. And I'm like, oh, that's cool. Like, I love Beatles, so I was like, uh, cool to get another English rock band. And people said these were like the second Beatles, which nobody's the second Beatles. That's just too hard to, too high of a, uh, to, yeah, it's just too hard to get to that kind of height as Beatles. But But yeah, still I remember getting this album, the CD for it, and just loving the CD and just listening to it nonstop. First one I ever got. And so yeah, so I always hold this. This has a lot of nostalgia for me. Holds a special place in my heart because it's like the first like '90s album that I really got into, and then I started getting more '90s albums and really liking it. Of course, it got me more into collecting at the time. Though the original CD I got, I don't have anymore. I got rid of it at some point, so I had to rebuy it. But about this, it's kind of cool. It's like this. It's like 3 CDs, and it's like a book. It's crazy how thick this thing is. But lots of writing about the songs, the Gallagher brothers who get along so well. Yeah, lots of notes on the music, pictures. Anyway, so yeah, it's a cool little book thing. And then the second, third CD, which was like live stuff, I think, and like demos and other songs that didn't make it on the. I don't know, but anyway, so pretty cool. I like the cool packaging I got for it. But yeah, amazing album. I mean, even today, like when we did a review on Garrett's channel, Sound Lab Studios. I believe Garrett, Nick, Brian, and I. And I know Garrett really liked this album. Like this really turned him around on '90s music, and of course I love this album. So listening to it again, still love this. Like it's one of those where every song is I thought really good. Um, yes, I got you beat, Briar. You're jealous, yeah. I do love this packaging, but I mean, starts with hello. I mean, what's a better start to a song than hello? But yeah, roll with it. Great. Wonderwall. People say it's overplayed. Still love that song. Don't Look Back in Anger. My favorite song on the album and my favorite Oasis song, I would say. Great rock song, but some might say, so good. One of the best on here. Almost underrated. It's a song that sound like Garrett puts when we do our reviews, as some might say. Morning Glory, really good rock song, like a heavy rock song. And then end with Champagne Supernova. Such a great song. But yeah, let's store in Morning Glory. This album I reviewed recently, a really great song. I mean, great album called Love Strong by Christina Perri. And I don't know if anybody's ever, I might be the only one that's like really into this album amongst most of the vinyl community, but uh, man, I can't recommend it more. It's such a great album. Like I said, I just talked about it not too long ago, my top 100 favorite albums. So it's pretty high up on my list, in fact. And I remember it coming out because Jars of Heart was a huge hit on the radio. And it's one of those songs, yeah, you just go, when you hear, when I first heard Jars of Heart, I was like, who is this? I need to hear more of this person. And I remember I went on iTunes and looked up Christina Perri and like listened to like her stuff on there, and it was like, wow, this is some really good stuff. Yeah, Bonner album. I mean, they're all like hidden gems because they're not. None of them. Jars of Heart's the only big radio hit on here, but I mean, Bluebird, amazing song. Arms is so good. She's like a piano. I mean, she's a real good piano and she's great vocals. Really great singer, and so it's really these great like pop songs and great ballads. And she wrote all about breakups. It's basically like a breakup album where she's singing about different breakups she's had in her life. But Distance is probably my second. I think it's my second favorite. Jar of Heart's my favorite. Distance, my second favorite. It's so good. But Penguin, great. Yeah. I don't know if Rob, if you've listened to this, there's one for you if you haven't. Maybe you have. Part of your more obscure music. All right, then here's another one Rob got me. It's Pretenders. It's a live album, The Isle of View. So it's got some kind of a compilation of different hit songs. So it doesn't have their biggest hit on here, unfortunately. My favorite of theirs, but it's really good album though. It's got some really good stuff, and I wasn't as familiar with all their stuff. I think especially the first half, it's really good. Sense of Purpose, really good opener. But Back on the Chain Gang, I didn't realize, but I heard that. I was like, oh yeah, I remember that. That was a hit song on the radio. So I was like, oh, that's cool. And there's some other ones I know. I was like, oh, even looking at it, I can't remember, but I know there's a couple songs where I was like, oh, I think that was a hit song. But I know Back on the Chain Gang was a big one for her as well. I said I can't remember exactly. I just remember I thought it was a pretty good album though. I need to listen to more Pretenders. Ah, yes. So there's one for you, Rob. Some of your obscure music that you like, and you like female singer songwriters types. So. All right, one of my favorite Christian rock albums. This is Anatomy of the Tongue in Cheek by Reliant K. Uh, yeah, it came out in like early 2000s. It's Christian rock, but man, it is some good rock music. Uh, if describe it, I think they described it like post punk or something. But I played some music for people, and they say it sounds like Blink 182. I said, yeah, that's a pretty good comparison. It's kind of a Christian version of Blink 182 as far as their kind of punkish rock style, which really good. I love, like I said, I love the guitar and everything. I love that. It's pretty cool. I love the color scheme here. Um, so you probably not heard, unless you're into Christian rock in the 2000s. You're probably like, I never heard of this band, which makes sense. And maybe you're like Christian music. I'm not into it, but I think even if you're not into Christian music, I think you still would like this album. I think the songs are just really, really well done. I saw them in concert, kind of actually. My freshman year in college, I went to a Christian college called Grace University in Omaha, Nebraska. I went there for 1 year, my freshman year after high school, and like the first week I was there, they had like this free concert of Christian bands or something like that, like at a big church nearby. And so everybody was going there. So I just jumped into a random car of somebody and we rode over to the church, wasn't too far away. And I didn't know anything about, there's a bunch of bands there, but Reliant K was like the big name that like closed the concert. And I think if I remember right, it was only standing room only. It was like in the church, wasn't, I don't know if it was even the sanctuary. It was like it was in some room in the church, and they had a stage there for them to play on. Maybe it was a sanctuary. I suppose it must have been, but there was no. Yeah, yeah. Georgia Clay. That's a good one as well. They had some good music, some hit songs in the '90s area maybe. Yeah, that's another good one, Rob. Uh, and they had some hit songs on the radio, but yeah, but it was like standing room only, so I had to stand. But and I was listening to all these bands, and I thought they're just okay. Like nothing really reached me. And then Reliant came out, and everybody was like going crazy because evidently they were like a big Christian rock band. I'm like, I had no idea, and so I got a pretty good view of them and heard them pretty well. Anyways, and they came out and they were just rocking from the beginning. Their very first song, I think, was Sadie Hawkins Dance, which was like their big number. It's my favorite. Reliant K song. Sadie Hawkins Dance is such a good song. What I love about Reliant K is not only the music is really good, the rock music, but they have a lot of funny lyrics as well. They have a really, yeah, I'm still alive. Getting through all my CDs here, which I'm not too far. I'm getting close to the end of my CDs on here, but Sadie Hawkins Dance is such a fun song. It's pretty hilarious. Talking about a guy who's trying to get a girl to ask him out because girls have to ask guys out, and he's trying to get, and he's going through these situations. Like I love, he goes to the cafeteria for some good eating. He found a good seat by the cheerleaders or something like that. The quarterback asked me if I would like a good beating, and I told him that's one thing I won't be needing. Such good rhyming, and tells such a funny story of going, going to the cafeteria, and then the quarterback's gonna beat him up, and so he has to get out of there. And anyways, it's such a fun song. I mean, the chorus is so good, so catchy. Anyways, but I remember they started off with Sadie Hawkins Dance, the very first song, and they closed off with Pressing On, which is probably my second favorite song on here. So they opened with my favorite and closed with my second favorite. Like, oh, it was so great. And throughout, it was a really good concert. So, of course, after hearing that concert, I was like, oh, I really like this. Had to get this album. Yeah, it's a great Christian rock album. Like I said, Pressing On, Sadie Hawkins Dance, Down in Flames is so good. Maybe It's Maybelline, pretty cool, catchy song. The words are not enough. For the moments I feel faint, like I said, it's Christian rock, but like some of them, they definitely do talk about some Christian themes. But most of them, it's just fun rock songs. I would say for the moments I feel faint, I think that's the one that's definitely talking about God. It's definitely more of a Christian type song. But yeah, May the Horse Be With You is one of the name of the songs. So I mean, if you can see that, it's kind of funny. Funny title there. My Way to the Highway is kind of funny, but Breakfast at Timpani's instead of Tiffany. Yeah, Less is More. Maybe I'm thinking Less is More. Less is More, really good, kind of more ballad type song. But yeah, I can't recommend enough. If you've never heard, don't know anything about them, check them out. Reliant K, or at least this album, I think you should check out. Hey Nick, I just got to warn you, Jason. The Kinks have a little over 20 albums. Oh, so when do you? Yeah, it's gonna be long. Okay, I didn't know they did that many albums. That's interesting. Let's see, Jaws was never my scene. I don't like Star Wars. um, all right, now I got two Damien Rice albums. This is the first one, O. And again, you might be like, who's Damien Rice? Never heard of him. Might not have. He's an Irish. He's from Ireland. But he's another one of those great singer-songwriters. Amazing voice, great guitar player. He play all his songs are really more acoustic style, like what I like. And to me, it's like an Ed Sheeran type singer and songwriter. But he just never got the what's the word? I don't know. He never got the backing by it, like because all of he didn't get a big label behind him. He's kind of more of an independent label type singer. And he just doesn't push his music. He's only done 3 albums. He doesn't go out there and put a bunch of albums out there. He's more about just putting the music that he likes out there and playing for the fans, and not so much about making money off of albums. I don't know. It's very interesting because he could be such a top singer if he got more exposure. Is the word I'm thinking of. He just doesn't have enough exposure like Ed Sheeran has. He's everywhere. He has tons of exposure. Dave Rice doesn't have any exposure. And it's like, man, look him up on YouTube. I mean, his live work is so good. Him singing live, some of the best stuff I've seen on YouTube. But this is a really great album. Like I remember I first heard him. Oh, you're trying to get Briar in. You made a Queen reference. See if Briar would. He's in there somewhere. I think he made some comments earlier. What was I gonna say? I was thinking. I think I heard there was a movie called Closer with Natalie Portman and Jude Law and some other big names. But it was this kind of Oscar type movie that I saw. I remember some time ago, and Blower's daughter was in there. There's a scene where Natalie Portman's like walking in slow mo down the road, and it plays the song Blower's Daughter, and it's a really beautiful song. The chorus is "I can't take my eyes off of you," anyways, and that's why they're singing "I can't take my eyes off of you" while they're showing Natalie Portman, who's just gorgeous, walking slowly down like a crosswalk. Anyways, and that's when I was like, "What is this? Who sings this?" And I think I somehow figured out that was Damien Rice. On the internet, I must have looked up the movie and found out Damien Rice. Like, who's this Damien Rice? And I think I looked on iTunes and found this album and started playing some of his songs. And I was like, wow, these songs are amazing. Like, this is one of those albums I just blown away. First time I heard it, I was like, wow, I've never heard stuff this good. It's like, it's just amazing. And none of them are big hits really, except The Blower's Daughter, maybe his bigger hit, just because, like I said, it was in that movie, and you might have heard of it. I don't know, but yeah, still, it's like one of those obscure artists and albums that I was like, I can't recommend enough to people. Like, if you haven't heard of him, haven't heard of the album, man, definitely check him out. He is so good. But Delicate, amazing song. Volcano, you might have heard the Volcano gets played sometimes in places, but Volcano is a pretty cool song. Like I said, Blower's Daughter, amazing song, great vocals. Cannonball, really good. Older Chest is my favorite song. It's such a great acoustic, folk type song. So good. Amy has more like this growing orchestra music. So good, the orchestra on there. After that, it's not as good. I would say those first 6 songs are amazing songs. The last 4, not as good. And in fact, the 10th song, I would just skip because it's like 15 minutes of just random, like a medley of songs. Not as good. That kind of ruins the album, but still, out of the 10 songs, there's 6 really, really good ones in there. I know people are talking about Queen in the comments here. What was the first album you ever bought? Mine was If You Believe Your Eyes and Ears by Mamas and Papas. Yeah, first album I bought was Oasis, What's the Story, Morning Glory. I talked about that when I showed that album, but yeah, What's the Story, Morning Glory was the first album I bought. Get on your bikes and ride. Pat Bum Girls will be riding today. A lot of Queen stuff here. Queen 2 is ranking higher on my Queen list. Okay. Yeah, I know Briar really likes that album. Might be his favorite. That's interesting. Yeah, if anybody wants to talk about their first album they bought, Rob, I would love to hear your list. What was the first one you bought? I don't know, Brian. I'm sure Brian said before. I can't remember what his is. I wonder if Garrett, Sgt. Pepper's, was that Garrett's first one? Maybe. I don't know. Anyways, this is Damien Rice's second album. I have 2 of his 3 albums. Third album, Beautiful Faded Fancy, I don't like as much, but and then 9, the second one. 9 is really good as well. In fact, I like it maybe even a little bit more than O, but such interesting, very, like I said, very indie type album. It's a very thin digipack and not much to the album as far as design. It's like he designed it. It's like a kid designed it. I don't know. But Nine Crimes, really great song. In fact, they played this song in, I think, Shrek 3. That's where I first heard that song. I was watching Shrek 3, I think, and in the movie theater, and this song came on at one point, and I was like, wow, what is this song? It sounds amazing. And I was like, oh, it's Damien Rice. And like, wow, that's probably the biggest song off of here, but really great piano duet. What I love about Damien Rice is there's this girl named Lisa Hannigan who he does a lot of duets with. And man, their 2 voices together, so good. I love a good duet. The Animals Were Gone, amazing song. Dogs, really good song. Some of my favorite on here, and some of my favorite of his. Gray Room, really, really good. Anyways, again, there's probably 5 or 6 really great songs on here. Than the other ones, maybe not as good, but still, it's worth listening to, at least on Spotify if you can find it. All right. The second album I bought was Wednesday Morning, 3 a.m. Okay. Simon Garfunkel's first album. Third was The Doors' first album. Fourth was Not Rocks. Okay, so you know all your. Okay, well, that's a good one. Magical Mystery Tour. Great song, or great album. Let's see. Mine was 4 CDs. Okay, David Bowie, Black Star, Metallica, Master. Wow, Metallica. Who's Next? You know who it is by. And Guns N' Roses' Greatest Hits. Oh, that's cool. You got Who's Next as one of your first albums. What a great album to get. Do you really haven't read the first album? Okay, a little while ago, Rob. I understand. I thought maybe you would have like a great memory of like getting the album or something. Who does Who's Next? Yeah, what's the name of the band? All right, next album I did an album review for this recently because it's in my top like 25 albums of all time. This is Awake by Secondhand Serenade, which again, you might not have heard of Secondhand Serenade. It's really one guy. I forget what his name is on top of my head, but the guy that really, the main singer, he writes all the songs, he sings, he plays guitar, I think. Yeah, John Vesley. Yeah, all songs are. So it's really, and it feels like you don't really hear much else. It feels like, I'm pretty sure it's just him singing on here. Even though you hear other voices harmonizing, I think it's just him harmonizing with himself. And a lot of the songs are that way. And I kind of love it that way. Like, it's like, wow, because he's a really good singer. And so I love hearing his voice multiple times kind of singing together. But yeah, really love about this album is John Vesley's vocals like on here. And I saw them sing live. I actually went to a concert and saw them live. Saw this guy live, and it was really great. Like his voice, oh, so good live. Like I was like blown away. Like how It was a really good concert, actually. This is back in the 2000s, this came out, and I saw him in Wichita. Anyways, he had one hit song on here, and that was "Vulnerable." "Vulnerable" was on the radio, and that's where I knew. That's why I got the album back in the day, or I think my sister got the album back in the day, and I used to listen to it. And the reason why I saw him in concert because "Vulnerable" was such a great song, definitely my favorite of his. He has a second album that has a pretty good song on it as well, if I remember right. This definitely was his best album, I think. But I like about every song on here. I thought was really good. Like I said, it's just great vocal work, piano or acoustic guitar thrown in. So good. But yeah, and he's just belted out sometimes. One of my favorite vocalists. But Vulnerable, great. Half Alive, the first song, really good. Um, I Hate the Song is a pretty fun song. But yeah, all great songs anyways. So that's another one. Maybe never heard of Secondhand Serenade, but especially Briar, because I know Briar. I sometimes when I recommend stuff, he'll listen to it, and so I'm like, here's one to listen to. All right, here's this one that actually me and Nick, and I think all of us are going to review this album pretty soon. And we've talked about this album. It's our favorite Simon Garfunkel album, and that is Bridge Over Troubled Water. Definitely my favorite Simon Garfunkel album. It's their last one. I think came out in 1970, fifth and last album. But man, they ended on a great one. Uh, Again, one of my favorites, in my top 20 favorite albums of all time. Of course, one album of the year. Bridge Over Troubled Water, one song of the year. I mean, I believe in 1970, if I remember right. I mean, it was a huge, huge album for them. I mean, you got Bridge Over Troubled Waters. I mean, yeah, one of the classics. Art Garfunkel, great vocals on there. Beautiful song. But El Contrapasta, if I could, really good song. Uh, One that you'll see on Greatest Hits albums. Cecilia, probably my second favorite song on here. Love it. Really good, fun, upbeat song. Keep the Customer Satisfied. Oh, so good. I shouldn't talk about too much because I know we're going to review this album, but The Boxer, I mean, one of my favorite of all time. The Only Living Boy in New York. I mean, it's such a great folk rock album, I guess you call it. Great, the best duo of all time, Simon Garfunkel, one of my favorite artists of all time, and so good. I love Simon Garfunkel. Here's another more obscure album, an artist, but I absolutely love this album, and this is called Strict Joy by the Swell Season, and this is a duo. And I've told the story before if you haven't heard me talk about this album. I haven't talked about this album yet. It's in my top 20 favorite albums, so it's an album I'll really review. I absolutely love this album. But I'm looking for the movie. They made a first album called The Swell Season, actually was the first album that they made. They only made two albums, The Swell Season and then Strict Joy, though their name of them changed because it's this guy, his name's Glenn Hansard. He's a singer from Ireland. He has an Irish band called the Frames, I think, or something like that. Never made it big in America, but I think they're bigger in Europe. And then this girl, her name is Marketa Oglova, and she is from the Czech Republic. Anyways, so interesting duo for sure. But they made a movie together. Is the reason why they started making some albums. And it's a really good movie called Once. Here it is, right here. See, there they are, Glenn Hansard and Marketa Oglova. Really cool musical. I say musical. A lot of music in it, but it's them playing the music. Like he wants to be a musician and he writes songs and he plays. He's a busker. He's out in the streets playing for money. You know, really cool movie. And they wrote the original songs in the movie. These two. And man, when I first saw the movie, I was like, wow, this music is absolutely amazing. Like this is some of the best music I've ever heard. And that's why I really like that movie. But they made an album at the same time they made this movie. They came out with an album called Swell Season, which has a lot of songs from the movie. And it's another really great album that I need to get. But that album it says Swell Season by Glenn Hansard and Marketa Oglova. So they just used their names. They actually started dating after they made the movie, which they're they're kind of, a love interest movie. They play, they don't actually get together, but they're like really good friends, and there's something, seems like they're in love, kind of thing. Uh, but anyways, after they made the movie, they started dating in real life, the two, anyways, and they went on tour together and was playing their songs all over, and mostly in Europe. I don't know if they went to the United States or not, but uh, then they came out this album, and they were breaking up when they made this album. And so they changed their name to the Swell Season, which is the name of their first album. But instead of calling themselves Glenn Hansard and Marketa Glova, decided to name their duo the Swell Season. So that's why it's called, and the name of the album is called Strict Joy, and the band is the Swell Season, I guess, the duo. It's kind of weird, but that's kind of the way it goes. Anyways, and I think this came out in 2009, I want to say, somewhere around there. Anyway, so they came out the second album together, and the only one under that name, the Swell Season. And I think they broke up too around the time they did this album. But yet they're really good friends still. It's like one of those things where it's like they didn't work as, I guess, a couple, but they still remained good friends. And anyways, but yeah, this album came out, and of course, I love the movie, love their first album, The Swell Season. So when this came out, man, I was like, yes, please. Like, I was so excited when this album came out. And I remember getting it, buying it on iTunes and listening to it, and just loved it. It was got on my iPod, and I just listened to the album over and over again. And to this day, listening to this, it's so good. And I actually bought this for Adam from What the Gym as our CD exchange, and he said he liked it as well. He listened to it and said he enjoyed the album as well. So definitely want to check out if you never heard of it. It's more acoustic, and piano. She plays piano, he plays acoustic guitar. So, but it's good songwriting. The vocals are just amazing. The great blend of the two. And yeah, it's really good pop songs, I guess, and ballads. I don't know, I would say, but nothing really, no hit songs on here. But it's just like every song is so good. Um, but yeah, like Feeling the Pull, more of an upbeat song, really good. In These Arms, so good acoustic song. Fantasy Man and is more of a Marketa Glova song, really good song. Well, I'm almost done, but thanks for staying in. Yeah, I know it's late over there in New York, Rob. Yeah, yeah, you bet, Rob. Thank you for the CDs. Uh, I know everybody's probably going to bed, so I'm almost done with this because I need to go to bed as well. But that'd be fun. Especially, I thought Briar would love to see my CD collection because he couldn't do a CD collection in 2 hours. I can tell you that. It would take uh, Briar a week to do this kind of stuff, but I can do it in 2 hours, 2 or 3 hours. But yeah, everything's so good. Paper Cup, The Verb, I Loved You Wrong, Two Tongues. I love Two Tongues. Probably my favorite song on here. But another one. Please check these albums out if you haven't heard of them. So good. All right, I got like three albums left on my list. This is one called Switchfoot, The Beautiful Letdown, which I covered recently. I did an album review. It didn't make it into my top 20, but I think it was like it was in my top 25 though. It was somewhere in between 20 and 25. Another Christian rock album. It is a really good rock album. Like again, like Reliant K, it's Christian rock, but I think even if you're not a Christian or you don't care for Christian music, you still like this album. It's still a really good rock album, and it's not really it's not an album that really talks about God a whole lot. It's more about positivity. It's more positive sounding songs about your life, but still really great stuff. And the guitars are amazing. There's so many good guitar riffs on here. I mean, they really rock, and they're from California, I believe. Briar, they're a California band. Anyways, their first song, "Meant to Live," the guitar riff to begin the album, so good. My favorite song on here, in fact. Really great. This Is Your Life, another hit song on the Christian radio. These were all hit songs. Because I remember I was in college when this came out, and everybody was listening to this album. And when someone put it in their CD in their car, their CD player, and I listened to it, I was like, what is this? This is amazing. So it's one of those that blew me away. And to this day, love this album. Every song is good on here. I mean, there's not a bad song here. More Than Fine, another big hit song for them. Dare You to Move, another really great song for them. But yeah, it's like I said, there's 4 or 5 like big hits on the Christian radio. But overall, every song's great. If you like rock music, man, this is a great album. Another one I sent to Adam. Adam said he liked this album. I've never heard of it. All right. Here's an album that actually Adam bought for me in our CD exchange, and this is the Traveling Wilburys. There are 2 albums, Volume 1 and Volume 3, as there's no Volume 2. But yeah, he got me this kind of, it has both albums on it. There's also a DVD that's like a 40 minute documentary about like them making the first album and all that. Anyways, really cool documentary on of course we know the Traveling Wilburys. I mean, the greatest collection of music icons ever. I mean, Bob Dylan, Tom Petty, George Harrison, Roy, what's his name? Well, there's a picture there of them. There's a great picture there. I'm forgetting names because it's getting late, but you know who they are. Roy Orbison and Jeff Lynne, yeah, are the members anyway. So I got the pretty cool package. I got all 3 CDs. The middle one's a DVD, I believe. Cool pictures of the band there. But yeah, I never heard of. I mean, I've heard of the Traveling Wilburys, never listened to the music before, and yeah, actually quite good. I especially. Oops, sorry, I'm trying to stretch my legs. Especially Volume 1, really good album. And I put it in our 50 Essential Albums of the 80s, in fact. But Handle with Care, really good opener, George Harrison type song. Last Night is my favorite song on here. Such a catchy tune. Not Alone Anymore, great Roy Orbison song. Congratulations, really fun Bob Dylan number. Heading for the Light, another really good George Harrison song on here. Then it ends with End of the Line, really great song with all 4 or 5 voices really shine on that song anyways. But Traveling Wilburys 2, I'm not as big on. Still not a bad album. Still got some good stuff there. The Devil's Been Busy. Where Were You Last Night? It's really good. You Took My Breath Away. Yeah, some really good stuff on here. So really cool that I got all the Traveling Wilburys in one package. So thanks to Adam for that. All right, last CD in my collection, and I got now 63 CDs in total. So my 63rd and last CD is Star Wars: A New Hope. So a little different, but yeah, John Williams. Obviously, Star Wars, one of my favorite. It's my favorite trilogy of all time. This is first movie and one of the greatest soundtracks. I mean, come on, I believe it won the Oscar for best musical score from John Williams, and John Williams is the GOAT when it comes to musical scores and movies. And yeah, it's pretty long. The only thing I'd say is like listen to it. Not everything is great on here. It seems like I wish it was cut down. It's 16 songs. Like I wish they cut that down more. But I mean, obviously, main title, iconic. Princess Leia's theme. Cantina Band, love that. Boom, 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 boom. Yeah, such a fun song. And then the Throne Room and end title, oh, so good how it ends. But yeah, I want to get all the Star Wars, at least the original trilogy. I mean, I want to get the original trilogy, all their soundtracks, because I really love the original trilogy and John Williams music. So that's my 63 albums. I know it took over 2 hours, but thought that'd be fun. I knew Briar would hopefully get a kick out of it, at least see what I got. And I guess I don't know. I bet there's maybe 10 titles there. Maybe Briar doesn't even have. So Briar maybe look at that and go, oh, there's something I don't have, and maybe he'll get some add to his 1,000 CDs. Yeah, thank you, classic soundtrack. Yeah, so I know Briar's gonna do a video soon on his 1,000th CD that he bought. So it'll take me a little longer to get to 1,000. I don't think I'd get to 1,000. That's so many and so much money. But definitely get to 100. I think I can get to 100 CDs maybe. Then I'll do a video on my 100th. But anyways, so thank you to anybody watching me ramble on about about CDs. Thank you a lot to Rob for the 15 CDs they bought me. Thank you a lot to Garrett for the 2 vinyls they bought me. Some really great stuff there. More hours of me listening to music and trying to catch up with everything I've got. And really cool collection, Jason. I'll make sure to rewatch one of this again. Yes, I hope you do, because I appreciate your feedback, Briar, because you're such a CD aficionado, and you know everything about it. But like I said, hopefully I got some stuff you maybe haven't heard of, and maybe you'll listen to it sometime. I hope anybody listening to this or watching this will maybe check out some of the stuff you might not know. A lot of good stuff here, anyways, and I hope it's not the greatest collection, but it's something. Like Bryce said, hopefully maybe more than the average person. But anyways, thank you a lot to everybody watching this video and chatting in the chats. And it's just a fun time just to hang out with some of you guys. I know we hung out the last night, but always love hanging out with everybody. And so glad Rob was on there. I love that he got to talk to him, since I have so much of his CDs that he bought me. And yeah, thanks a lot to Garrett, Briar, and Nick as well. Appreciate you guys. Hope you guys have a rest of the good week.